First thing that we'll notice, we have the map of the UK. Doesn't really matter where the sites are. It can be Europe, it can be America, it can be anywhere. But ultimately what we're looking at is a large list of all of these different features that we're going to be going over. As I say, starting with the portfolio overview. We also have these top headers that are effective on every single page. Each one of these headers may or may not be visible dependent upon the role level that you access the platform with. Right now I'm accessed on system admin, so I will see everything. But if you're building level or maybe client level or even organizational level, you might not see all of the different elements. Just want to kind of make that clear up front. But as we're looking at this now, we're looking at the map. Now with every typical kind of platform, we want to be able to see estate-wide. If I've got 50, 200, 300 buildings, in a portfolio, I want to be able to understand what's going on. And so what we're looking at here, if I select this client and go down to a particular client, this client has 6 buildings within the UK. And so really what we're looking at is what energy data. So in this case, we're looking at electric meter data. And we're looking at the last 30 days worth of energy. So you can see how much energy is being used in the last 30 days, what the cost of that energy was, and what the carbon, tons of CO2 has been released as a consequence of that energy. Now, one of the things that you'll notice is we have, we can clearly see in the last 30 days, it's actually gone up by 27.4%, both in terms of cost and electricity. However, with carbon, it's gone up 67.6. Now, the reason behind that is, we don't use the standard UK government factor of, for electricity, something like 0.233 or 238, whatever the standard government factor is. We take the grid supply point of each individual site and the carbon factor, which changes every half an hour. And so it's important distinction to make, because, for every kilowatt you burn is purely dependent, in terms of the amount of CO2 that you give off, is purely dependent upon how clean or dirty the grid is at that point. So how much solar, how much wind is available will determine how much carbon gets released based upon the amount of energy you use. And so that's an important distinction to make, why that figure is different from these figures. We can hover over each site to give some information about that site in terms of the energy that's used in the last 30 days, specifically the live current temperature and the next 7-day forecast. Then we can move, as well as this, we can then have a client